Justin Trudeau is missing again. He did not attend the latest question period, and so Freeland took his place. And I mean, you would think that it wouldn't be hard to fill Justin Trudeau's shoes and mess things up, but she actually made it even worse for the Liberals. Freeland showed how ignorant, how corrupt, how dumb, and how entitled she and the Liberals are. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Today we're going to be taking a look at Freeland getting literally put in her place by Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives during question period. And it's not that hard to put Liberals in their place. You're gonna find out in a minute. Which brings me to my next point. If you want to support the channel by any means, you can find this awesome sticker bundle linked down below in the description or the pinned comment below. Freeland riding a broom, Justin Trudeau being penetrated by Klaus Schwab. Have you seen me? Justin Trudeau missing on a milk carton. I did not see that coming, and speech you hate does not equal hate speech. Those are all linked down below. And Freeland riding on a broom is probably my favorite because it's absolutely just so accurate. She's just a witch of the wicked north, and or the wicked witch of the north. And I mean, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this clip in this video as much as I do because it's pretty funny. So sit back, relax, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't yet already, and enjoy the ride, folks. Oral questions, questions orales. Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
When the Prime Minister doubled the debt, drove inflation and interest rates to their highest levels in a generation, he said he had no choice. Every penny he spent was necessary. Along comes ArriveCan, a $54 million app we didn't need, didn't work, and could have been done for $200,000 or $300,000. Now we learn, based on the Ombudsman's audit, that 76% of the contractors did absolutely no work for the money they received. Will the Prime Minister get taxpayers back this stolen money and stop the waste that is not worth the cost?
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians have learned through bitter experience that when Conservatives talk about the public finances, what they're really talking about is cutting the government support Canadians depend on. What they are talking about is cutting early learning and childcare, which is supporting labour force participation at record levels in Canada, and by the way, making life more affordable for Canadian families. They want to cut dental care, Mr. Speaker. They want to cut essential investments in our green future.
Indeed. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
We want to cut waste and mismanagement that has risen to a level that is not worth the cost after 8 years of this Prime Minister. Speaking of wasteful, this Prime Minister loves to lecture Canadians on how they use energy. He says that he's just like every other Canadian when he stays with a friend at an $89,000 a week vacation. The average Canadian emits 15 tons of carbon per year. His trip emitted 100 tons of carbon.
Wow.
Did he pay the full carbon tax on each ton he emitted for his luxurious vacation?
That would be a lot of money.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, since we're asking questions of MPs, I have a
why she can't answer?
Leader of the Opposition. I'd like to know how much heating
That's interesting.
19-room government mansion that he lives in costs. That would be interesting for Canadians to understand. And, you know, the good news for Canadians is we're helping them with the cost of heating with the carbon rebate. So I want to know, did his family cash their carbon rebate check? It's almost $1,000.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
I can tell the member that I pay for my own vacations and that of my family.
There you go. Drop a W in the chat for Pierre.
Canadians who pay for their own vacations are also paying too much for food. We have a bill, a common sense Conservative bill, C 234. It would take the carbon tax off the farmers that feed us and the consumers that desperately need to put nutrition on their table. Will the Prime Minister stop blocking the bill, pass this law so that Canadians can afford food?
Something's going on with my dog. I'll be right back, everyone.
Prime Minister and Minister.
Hold the fort down.
You know, Mr. Speaker, people who live in glass houses really should not throw stones. And the Leader of the Opposition may be bragging about what he pays for, but I think Canadians should understand he doesn't pay any rent on that 19-room mansion that he lives in. In fact, he's been on the government payroll for more than 20 years, and he qualified for a full pension at 35, Mr. Speaker. And now he wants to take the rebates away from Ontario families. $1,000 a year, he wants to take that away.
What do you get with 24 Liberal MPs in Toronto? A housing crisis. A Davenport MP
This guy's such an idiot.
gaslights and attacks the city and the housing workers that are struggling to make sure people have a place to call home. Whether you were born here or moved here, no one should live on the streets. The city and the housing groups are just asking the Liberal government to do their fair share. So will the Liberals provide the $250 million that Toronto needs now?
Hear, hear.
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to thank the member opposite for the very important question.
For his dumbass question.
To the importance of the great city I have the privilege of representing, Toronto, which is such an engine of economic growth for our entire country. Mr. Speaker, we are having very constructive conversations with the City of Toronto and with the Province of Ontario. We are providing $1.5 billion for Toronto in 23-24. We're there for Toronto more than any government in Canadian history.
Another year means another carbon tax increase on April 1st. It was minus 50 in some places in this country where Canadians can't even afford to heat their homes. Yesterday, the Finance Minister lectured Canadians on her out-of-touch version of events, and then we learned that the Liberals were going to change the name of the carbon tax. Taking money out of the pockets of Canadians rebranded is still taking money out of their pockets. So instead of paying high-priced consultants to remove the carbon tax or change the carbon tax name, they should take some free advice and cancel it April 1st.
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, let me tell you what is really out of touch. What is out of touch is for a Toronto MP like the one sitting opposite to be saying to the people of Ontario, to the hardworking families of Ontario, we are going to take away the $974 you are getting back thanks to the price on pollution. We're going to cut that money that goes directly to your family budget. Oh, and by the way, we're going to cut daycare and dental care along the way, too. That's not going to help anyone in Canada.
The Honourable Member from Thornhill.
Mr. Speaker, I don't remember a government so indifferent to the plight of Canadians. Her advice of cutting Disney Plus is cold comfort to the woman who's putting water in her children's milk. The cost of
Wow.
is up 94% since she got here. They can lower the cost of food, of gas, of home heating by canceling the increase instead of quadrupling the tax. They paused it for one region where their MPs revolted. Where are the rest of their silent MPs who should be speaking up for their neighbours that are asking to cancel the increase?
Full Minister for Finance and Deputy Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker.
No, Mr. Speaker.
Out of touch with regular Canadians. Let me tell you what was out of touch. It was having a temporary leader who charged $20,000 to move into her temporary house and then charged Canadian taxpayers more than $5,000 for bed and bath linens. That's for towels and sheets. And Mr. Speaker, what Canadians need to know is these Conservatives would cut childcare, they would cut dental care, and they would cut the carbon rebate people are getting.
The Honourable Member from Lakeland.
That Deputy Prime Minister is so out of touch. This is the truth. After 8 years, Canadians can't afford to eat, heat, or house themselves. Last year, 2 million Canadians needed help from food banks every month. That's a shocking 78% increase from just 2 years before. Food banks say 2024 will be even worse. The Conservative Common Sense Bill C-234 would take the tax off farmers to lower food prices right now, but the Liberals force senators to gut it. So why won't the Liberals axe the tax from farmers to bring down food prices for Canadians?
Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, we will
She looks drained.
lessons from these austerity conservatives when it comes to supporting the most vulnerable Canadians. Since we formed government, 2.3 million Canadians have been lifted out of poverty, and the poverty rate has fallen from 14.5% when they were in government to 7.4%. They want to cut child care, they want to cut dental care, and that MP from Alberta wants to cut the $1,500 Alberta families are getting from the price on pollution.
The Honourable Member from Lakeland.
Well, listen, the Liberals' schemes, scams, and spin jobs don't help the millions of desperate, hungry Canadians struggling just to get by every single month. This is the fact. When you tax the farmer who produces the food, the trucker who ships the food, and then the cost of heating and cooling and storing the food, Canadians can't afford the food. But these out-of-touch carbon tax crusaders, they don't care. And they're going to quadruple it on April 1st. Conservatives will axe the tax for all for good. But why won't these Liberals just pass Bill C-234, reject the Senate amendments, tax the tax from farmers, and bring down food prices today?
The Honourable Minister.
Speaker, I'll tell you where Conservatives were focused just over a week ago. A who's who collection of Conservatives gathered for a pep talk from far-right U.S. commentator Tucker Carlson.
Oh, come on, dude.
Colleagues.
They really don't like Tucker Carlson, eh? Smash that like button, folks. Let's try and get to 500 or 600 or more likes.
And hear the answers. I know that
that's insane.
There was a member who had complained about the noise level, which made it difficult, especially for people who need to listen to translation.
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, last week, a who's who of Conservatives gathered in Alberta for a lecture and a series with far-right commentator Tucker Carlson. And in that speech, one of them which focused and which had the Premier Danielle Smith attend, we heard attacks on
my goodness,
homophobic jokes, and traditional best hits of MAGA politicians. Mr. Speaker, a Conservative nomination candidate in my riding went on Twitter, had lots of fun on it. Here's the question. Will his leader stand with the candidate or call him out, or is he standing with Tucker Carlson?
That is insane that they're talking about Tucker Carlson in the House. Wow.
The Honourable Member from Lambton, Kent, Middlesex.
Tucker bad. Tucker real bad.
Years of this NDP Liberal government.
Wild. I'll be right back, folks.
Who used to belong to the middle class are going hungry. The Prime Minister and his radical Environment Minister know that if it costs a farmer more to grow food, it's going to cost Canadians more to buy food. This Prime Minister is not worth the cost. Farmers, ranchers, and producers are asking for Bill C-234 to lower their costs. So will the Liberals finally reject the amendments from Bill C-234 from the Senate, remove the carbon tax completely, and lower the price of food for all Canadians?
Hear, hear. The Honourable Minister for Agriculture and Agri-Food.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I fully understand the importance of looking after the land, being a farmer, I fully understand, and taking steps to prepare the industry for the future. Mr. Speaker, that's why we invested as a government $1.5 billion to make sure our farmers and ranchers and processors are ready for the future. We are going to continue to make sure our farmers and ranchers remain on the cutting edge. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member from Lambton, Kent, Middlesex.
Mr. Speaker, the 2 million Canadians who rely on food banks deserve better than that cheap deflection. 1 in 5 Ontario households who struggle to put food on their tables deserve better. They need this government to stop inflating food prices. They need the Prime Minister to stand up to his radical Environment Minister and carve out the inflationary carbon tax for our farmers, producers, and ranchers. So will the Liberals finally do the right thing? Reject the Senate amendments to Bill C-234, remove the carbon tax for farmers, and lower the price of food for Canadians.
If I could ask members, especially members whose voices do carry, the member from Calgary Signal Hill, please, to allow the question to be asked so that the Speaker can hear it clearly. The Honourable Minister of Agriculture and Agri-Food.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I appreciate my honourable colleague's question, but being a farmer, she must fully understand it's so important that we invest in what farmers do. When you see what takes place across the country with the devastating fires, the devastating floods, it's so important that we take care of the environment. Farmers fully understand you have to take care of the land, you have to take care of the environment, and if not, your food price will increase dramatically. We are and will continue to make sure we support our farmers and ranchers right across this country.
Well done.
Addington.
Mr. Speaker, more empty words while Canadians are spiraling out of control. It's not only home ownership that this Liberal NDP government has managed to turn from a dream into a nightmare, but it's rent as well. In the last 2 years alone, rent has increased by 22%. That's nearly $400 a month. After 8 years of their war on affordable housing and rent, this government is forcing Canadians out from the suburbs and into tent cities and parking lots. Mr. Speaker, when will this government stop the photo ops and actually fix the housing and affordability crisis hammering Canadians?
Yeah! The Honourable Minister for Housing, Infrastructure and Communities.
Mr. Speaker, for years, the Conservative approach to policies that will actually help people is to prey on their anxieties rather than advance ideas that will actually address them. The member is supporting her leader's plan, which is going to build fewer homes than we are already on track to build. We have removed the GST from apartments to help bring down rent. She's campaigning on a commitment to put that GST back on for a lot of middle-class apartments, which will increase the cost of living. When it comes to affordable housing, we have put programs in place to support their construction. They have promised to cut it. We are going to continue to put money on the table to build more homes. Their policies will drive up rent.
Before I give the floor to the member for Louis Saint Laurent, I will invite members, out of respect for those who need to listen to the interpretation, to please stop commenting during questions and answers.
Thanks for watching today's question period highlights. Before you leave, I want to encourage everyone to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't yet already, and please consider turning post notifications on to add a layer of insurance so you can actually be notified of upcoming videos. And just a friendly reminder that the sticker bundle is available for purchase down in the description or the pinned comment below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.